My name is Ed Frawley. My wife and I own Leerburg. This is an interesting podcast that we put together this week. Cindy and I have a good friend, Joaquim Dovat from Switzerland. Joaquim is probably one of the top decoys in the United States right now. And I know there are a lot of good decoys in the United States, but I personally don't know anybody that's better than Joaquim because of the experience that he's had for the last 23 years being a decoy in Switzerland and in European countries. Joaquim specializes in young dogs. He specializes in decoying for the Mondioring sport. So this is part 2 of a 4-part podcast. So then in the early 2000s, you went in the military. What year did you go in the military?
I was for the school, the military school.
Yeah.
I was Grenadier Territorial. It's a good incorporation.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a car accident and I break my elbow.
Yeah.
And
Were you drinking?
Not on this crash.
That's a bad question. I shouldn't have asked that. You're young. I mean, you're young in the military. I had 2 sons in the military.
It's good. 21 years old.
Yeah,
it's good. Party.
Do stupid stuff.
No. I missed a curb and.
Yeah. And then what happened? You broke your arm, so then did you have to get out of the military, or what did that happen?
I stay in the military, but I can continue on this incorporation, and I go a different one, a little bit less physical.
Right.
And I can finish my school, and after the school, I continue the repetition course. Now we need go every year, 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So that's right. Just for the people here in the United States, like our National Guard, they have to go for 2 weeks or 4 weeks a year to training, and then they have a 3 or 4 year commitment. And in Switzerland, how many years do you have to be in that, did you say?
The minimum is 9 years.
9 years they keep you in.
240 days. 45 days you need to do.
And then when you go into the military there, you have 2 options. Why don't you explain those? You
have the military school,
yeah,
or the civil school.
Civilian school.
Civilian work, yeah.
So then in the civilian school, what do they do?
It's more on depending on the village or the country, it's prepare you if you have a thunderstorm and the water in the garage, you go help the people.
Okay.
Or you build up a bridge. It's just to, a little bit like, they can say
like after disasters.
Yeah,
and stuff
after
like
disaster or something.
Sure.
If it's not disaster, you can help for make a bridge in the forest or cut some tree. You do a little bit.
You sent me some videos. We should put a link on some of the Swiss videos that you sent me because some of them are really funny. Everybody in Switzerland has to own a gun, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Even women.
Even women.
They have to have a gun.
Yeah. It's not the mentality change a little bit because now before we have the gun in the house and now we have a choice. And the new generation don't want to carry a gun in the house, depending what you do for a job. But it's a responsibility.
What's very interesting is the amount of training that they put you through to have that gun, and the bullets.
And the bullet, yeah.
The bullets they keep inventory on, don't they?
Yeah.
They give you so many bullets, and they check on them all the time to make sure you still have them?
Oh yeah, every year, if we go again to the course, you need to take the bullet.
Yeah.
And if something's happening on the bullet, it can be a big trouble. I remember
they don't have any mass shootings in Switzerland, do they?
No.
Like not here in the United States.
No, it is. I think the education is different.
Better education, and better background checks.
And the rules,
Yeah, and the rules, yeah. Well, we don't need to go into that. But then, when did you get involved in military police dogs or in military dogs? How did that happen?
On the center, I was doing my certification for Mondioring.
Yep.
I started in 2002 or 3 with my friend. And during the certification, we have some instructor, and one of these instructor was one guy working the military and the centers for dog.
Yeah.
And he saw me with the suit, and he talked with me and said, "Hey, you're good. You have a good feeling. You're good in shape.
Yeah.
You're not scared of the dog." And he gave me the opportunity to have a contract in the military for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And I say, "Why not? You know,
It'd be fun.
yeah.
Play with dogs.
Step on."
So the Swiss have a center just for dogs,
Just for dog.
not horses.
No, it's horse, dog, and pigeon.
And what?
Pigeon, the breed, the bird.
Pigeons?
Yeah, pigeon. Sorry, accent.
Pigeons?
Pigeon.
That's a good one. You know, they do almost the same thing in Canada without the pigeons.
Yeah, I know the
Canada.
pigeons.
And you know where else they do
legs.
it? I take that back. I didn't mean Canada. I meant in Holland. They have the horses and the dogs in the same place in southern Holland, because I went there a couple times. And with my friend Kevin Sheldo, who I do my police videos with, a lot of my police videos with, Kevin and I were visiting their federal dog school. And we were invited to go with the horse people for a big soccer competition between the Dutch and the British in England. Yeah, I know. It was crazy.
Yeah, that can be fun. Yeah.
But we don't have to go there. So now, you went there, and what did you do? What did you train with the military? You were there just for 4 years or longer than 4 years?
Oh, it was my contract for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was in the center to train the dog. The system in the military, it's the military on this time buy a dog in French, Belgium, Italy. But the dog is 1 year to 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of French dog we have on this time.
Yeah.
We take the dog in the center, LT check, if it's okay, and after we put the military program, search on the building, search on the forest, the obedience we have for the military, and the bite walk. And in this situation, we take a profile of the dog, and if he's very strong, it's maybe for the military corps. If he's a good standard, good dog, he go to the school, and we select the dog to put on the different.
When you say he goes to the school, what do you mean at school? A school, like a high school?
No, the school, like a military school.
Military school,
with the milice.
Oh, I see. So the dogs that come in, they would go into and become a military police dog, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Would they also go into the civilian police department too?
Yeah, the civilian conducteur de chien, militaire, a military handler.
Okay. So how long is the school for the dogs? How long do they come in?
With the soldier?
Well, once you buy the dogs, once these
Stay in
guys bring their dogs and they want to sell them, right?
Yeah.
And then your instructors test the dogs and figure out, yes, they're good or no, they're not.
Correct.
Once they go through and they get checked medically, like you said, then they go in and start their training. How long is the training for the dog?
Depending a little bit of the dog and depending of the time of the school, because you have 2 schools for the milice in this
2
center.
schools for the military?
Yeah, one at beginning on February, March.
Oh, I see. Every year.
Yeah, and
Okay.
one it's I think August, September.
And how long are they?
It's 3 months,
3 months.
Yeah.
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Okay. Interesting. I know I went to Canada to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and their school is 20 weeks long.
20 weeks.
But
yeah.
theirs is crazy tracking. Hard, long tracks.
Mind tracking.
Through the city, through the woods. I don't know, there's 3 levels, and level 1 they have to track 5 kilometers. It's a long way to track with backtracks and road crossings and crazy stuff. So you have 12 weeks, and did you work the dogs in bite work for the full 12 weeks, or just part of that, or what?
Part of that, the bite walk, the obedience, the search on the building, and search on the forest.
And then on average, how many dogs would go through in a class?
Between, let's say, 12 and 20, 22.
Okay.
Depending how much student we are.
And did they train them in detector work too, for narcotics and bombs?
No, this is just for the professional, the nose walk.
So when do they go and did you ever get involved in the detector dogs for the military, for the bomb dogs or the narcotics dogs?
Yeah, in the military I have 2 dogs. One it was drug detection and one bomb detection.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the interesting thing is that, let's talk about what kind of dogs the Swiss military use. What do they use for dogs? German Shepherds or Malinois? What do they use?
15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was 80% of Malinois. And this time we buy a lot of dogs from French Ring. It was most popular. And now with the new system a little bit, with the breeding system, and I think it's 50-50. 50% German Shepherds and 50% Malinois.
And do the Swiss breed their own military dogs and police dogs?
No, the system of Switzerland, you do the parenage.
What the heck?
Some breeder breed dog,
just
train the dog to puppy to 12 months or 60 months, and you do the test, and if the dog is good, it's sold for the military.
Then it goes into the military.
Correct.
Okay. And talk a little bit about the military dog handlers, how they handle their dogs. Now they come in, let's say you're a young soldier. Do you have to come with your own dog, or do they find a dog for you?
The 99% is the military find a dog for the soldier.
And
we have some soldiers come with a home dog, but he need pass the test.
Okay.
If he bite good, or depending if it's for search and rescue dog or patrol dog.
So the young guy wants to be a canine handler. He gets his dog. He goes through the 12 weeks of schooling with the dog.
Correct.
And then he goes home with the dog?
Yeah. He buy the dog 2,000 Swiss francs. This is nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And after he go home with the dog.
So he has his military dog he takes home, but he's only in the military for how many weeks a year?
3 weeks.
3 weeks a year. So he takes his military police dog home, and then he brings him back next year for 3 weeks?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so they must have a different kind of dog.
Yeah, that's true. It's more sport dog, you know.
It is?
Yeah.
More even-tempered, not so sharp?
Not so sharp, no.
Yeah.
And on this situation, it's maybe 85% family dog and 5% patrol dogs.
So it's kind of a different type of situation than what we have here in our country then.
Yeah, this is different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah, because in our country now, we're starting to breed our own dogs down at Lackland Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. And then they have a puppy program where they raise them. But in Switzerland, you have breeders that breed just for the military, and they raise them.
Correct. Yeah.
And do it, and then they try and get them into the military if they can pass the test. That's correct. What about the police dogs that go through this 12-week program? That's a different kind of dog.
This is different, yeah. For the military police dog, for example, the military buy a dog, it's good dog, he can do nose walk, for selection too.
Yeah.
And the military cops come for 2 weeks in the center.
Yeah.
He touch his dog and he understands to do the obedience, to do the bite walk, search on the building. After the 2 weeks, he take the dog in this incorporation, and he have the dog with him
All the time.
all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. So how does when you were there, did you just work to be the decoy stuff, to do the decoy stuff with the military police dogs?
Everything. We are on this time. The time I start, we have 1, 2, 4, 6 people, and we do obedience, bite walk,
Everything.
search on the building. Yeah, and we make a rotation. Some day it was me in the suit. Some day it was me, the handler, and my friend in the suit.
Gotcha.
And we mix.
But you were in the military, and you were in super selection. You were in the World Championships in 2009 and in 2010 and 2015, but you were in the military then,
Correct, yeah.
and the military has no problem letting you go.
No problem, no.
Do they encourage you to go and do that?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Not in America.
Not America?
No, I don't think so. I don't
No,
think
that's
so.
a bit, on this time, the military like to do sport because we buy a lot of dog from sport, and that's make it a bit more popular, I think.
So the military helps and likes the sport dog work.
Yeah.
I wish it was more like that here in America. It's
For
not
the
like that.
control is better. I
What's
think.
that?
For the control is better. If you have a good sport dog, I can say it's easy. It's a little bit easier to teach him to be aggression on certain type of situation.
Yeah.
To the inverse, you have a crazy dog, but you need to teach him to be calm on different situations. Makes
So
sense.
just to repeat that, if you've got a crazy dog, it's awful hard to make that dog
Calm.
into a house dog, a calm house dog.
Yeah.
But if you've got a really good character sport dog, a lot of times, as long as the character is good and they can pass the testing, it's easier to make them into good police dogs,
Correct.
strong police
Yeah.
dogs.
I have a
And that's the way to look at it too. It really is.
I have a perfect example. I was an instructor expert in the World Economic Forum for the patrol dogs with the soldier.
Yeah.
And we have the soldiers coming, and we do for 2 weeks Kevlar bites, civil bites, we put the dog very up for the mission we have on this time. After we have 1 week mission, we do maybe every night or every 2 nights we go do the bite walk in the place where is the soldier we patrol with the dog.
Yeah.
And after, if the mission is done, we have 1 week we put cool down the dog. This can make sense.
Yeah. Calm them down.
Calm her
again.
down.
So you
Just
work 'em up.
play around the decoy, no bite, no crazy stuff. Go to the city with the dog, just for so if the dog it was too much or if he cool down and he start being under
Do they make the
control.
dogs wear muzzles when they take them to the city?
Usually no.
They don't need
Depending
to.
if it's inside the bus or if it's close with the people, we put the muzzle on.
So do you see pretty good dogs in the Swiss military?
Yeah.
For the police end, not for the military dog handlers. Not for the handlers that it's 80% living in the house and 20% doing normal work. The other ones. Do you see pretty strong and good dogs there?
Yeah.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
So you, because of your experience in the Mondio, you've seen some really good dogs, so you know you're seeing good dogs. Did you get hurt very often?
Good time?
Huh? Not bad, though?
Not bad. I've just one time 11 stitches in
A what?
11 stitches in my face.
In your face?
Yeah.
People probably that don't know the bite work, when they see these dogs doing the bark and hold,
Yeah.
they always wonder about that. Every now and then a guy does get a tooth hooked in his jaw and gets ripped.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to you?
It was a face with accessory, and I had the accessory, and the dog jumped
Over the top of it?
over the accessory, and he punched me in my face. He go away, and after I finished the phase of accessory, 10 seconds, and he restarted the dog, and I was like, I have no hold, and after I touch, I say, oh, okay, I'm open.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I go to the judge, and after I go to the hospital. And
I have a funny story like that too. I had my police dog in town here, and I was training him, and I was tracking in the park on the end of town. And at the end, there was a guy, and there was a jungle gym for kids to play on. And he saw me there with the police dog, so he came over and wanted to ask questions. And my dog was kind of a hyper dog anyway. He was not a sharp, aggressive dog. He ignored them. But I had dropped my leash, and I reached down to pick my leash up, and my dog jumped up at the same time and hit me. His mouth hit my mouth, and it broke my front 2 teeth off.
oh,
And my first thought was, how did that son of a bitch spit gravel in my mouth? And then I felt, and I didn't have any teeth in the front. So yeah, I always wondered, if you get in a fight and you get your teeth knocked out, does it hurt? It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. But they were broke right off. And so then I had to mumble to this guy and say, "Well, I'm sorry, I got to go to the dentist now." I know. Jeez Louise. But I've been lucky. I've never been badly bitten in 60-some years of doing that.